Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. Tonight's video features true scary stories in the midst of snowstorms. How fitting for this time of year to describe truly horrifying experiences in the beautiful snow. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Sit back, relax, stay sinful. Story number 1. My 3 friends and I went snowboarding this past weekend. Once a season, we go up to the mountain and stay for an entire week. This weekend, the weather forecast called for 2 feet of fresh powder. The mountain was primed for new trails and for us to carve our own pathways. We rent the same Airbnb each year. The B&B is a 2-story old-style log cabin, and it legit overlooks the bottom of all of the runs. It's a gorgeous spot to hang and party. Our first night there, we always have way too much to drink and smoke a few bowls. This always helps us de-stress from work mode and get us in the right frame of mind to shred. Morning came quick for us on our first day on the mountain. Although we were mildly hungover, we were up at 8 a.m. to hit the fresh snow. The snow was falling very heavily when we got to our first run. My buddies and I usually split up and find our own ways. We always reconvene at the bottom of the mountain once we're done. I was so ready to drop off the lift and go. Once I hit the snow and had been descending the run, I noticed there were 2 people nearby. The snow was falling at such a rapid pace at this moment, I could only make out the colorful outlines of their jackets. Something seemed off-putting to me though. As I was riding the run, I noticed that they were not moving anymore. They were at a complete stop. This concerned me that there may be some sort of a drop-off or a tree well. A tree well is also known as a spruce trap. It's a space around a tree and its branches, and then this does not get the same amount of snow as the surrounding open space. The end can be deadly. I came to a stop roughly 20 yards before the 2 figures. It was blizzard status at this time. I looked down and ran my hands down a long wire that was attached to 2 nearby trees. It was a long, dense wire that looked like it would be used to trip someone. My heart was beating out of my chest, and I was frantic. Did these people see me or what? I ducked behind a small tree to avoid their detection. I don't know why someone would ever do something like this to another person. These 2 individuals were trying to seriously injure or kill someone. I was able to change directions and avoid any serious interactions with these sick human beings. I told my friends at the bottom of the run what I had just witnessed. They were completely dumbfounded as to why. I reported it to the ski patrol, and they never found a single trace of anything. I'm thankful I was alert that morning. Story number 2. I live in Wyoming on 50 acres that my family has owned for 4 generations. My parents recently passed away and left the property to my sister and I. I'm 35 years old and my sister is 30. We have always had a close relationship. My sister and I were at the family farm right after our parents' funeral, checking on the property and making sure that everything was locked up for the winter. Winter in Wyoming starts in November and goes all the way through March. As my sister and I were approaching our family property, the snow had begun to fall and was picking up steam. When it snows out this way, you can get caught in a blizzard very quickly. We reached the gate to our homestead. The first thing I noticed was the gate was already open, ever so slightly. This is a major red flag out this far out in the middle of nowhere. Consider this. You have to drive down a 4-mile-long dirt gravel road to reach the gate to our property. Not a single soul should be out here at this time, or any time for that matter. My sister and I both carry firearms and have permits to carry. Hell, everyone does this far out in the countryside. It goes with the territory. We proceed down the road and we're scanning the property for any signs of someone or something. My sister yelled at me to stop the truck. I scanned out the window and noticed a dark figure crouched behind the backside of the barn. I decided to hit the gas and we flew down the road. As we got closer, we noticed there were more people appearing out of the barn. My sister screams, "There must be 10 people in dark robes." These figures proceed to start walking into the middle of the road. Good God, this must be some sort of cult. My mind's racing and I grabbed for my firearm. I slammed the brakes on the truck to avoid hitting these people. We can't see their faces, but they formed a human chain to stop us from reaching the house. We both hop out of the truck, guns drawn to clear the road. I yell, "This is private property. You need to leave or I will open fire." Out in these necks of the woods, it's open season. It's so much like the Wild West. One person moves out in front of their group and draws a gun and points it at us and opens fire. My sister opens fire and we take cover behind the doors of the pickup. What the fuck is happening? This can't be real. I slam the truck in reverse. We slide into a ditch on the side of the gravel road. The truck rolls over 2 times, slamming us into the frozen tundra. Our lives are on the line in this moment. My sister's head is pouring blood and she's unconscious. Fuck. I slide out of the seat and these people are sprinting towards the truck. I hit one and this person drops to the ground. Boom, I hit another, center mass, and the hooded figure drops. The group starts to flee for some reason I will never know. They had me outgunned and outmanned. They disappear out of sight down the ridge. I have 1 bar on my cell signal and I call for help. 911 takes at least 45 minutes to reach us in a good clear weather. I have to check on my sister and hope and pray she doesn't die. I will check in again if and when we make it out of this hell alive. Story number 3. Our old house was on a corner, and in lieu of a backyard, it had a side yard with a small deck that wrapped around to the back. The snow had just begun to fall. It was the dead of winter. I was working on homework. The dining room had patio doors that led out to the back, and we would have barbecues and such back there. When I was about 14, we only had 1 desktop computer and 1 laptop for the family. My brother and I would fight over the desktop. That's where Diablo 2 was installed, so I would use the laptop to write music. On one particular winter's night, my brother had a friend over. They were downstairs doing whatever, and I was at the dining room table on the laptop. As I wrapped up my writing, I didn't pay much attention to my surroundings. I heard a knock on the patio door, which startled me. I looked up expecting my brother or his friend. The basement had a door that led to the back deck as well. Standing at the door and waving was a person. I couldn't tell the sex or the age, wearing a pig mask. Thinking it was my brother or his friend, I mouthed, "Good one," gave the person the finger and they walked away. Soon as I left, I went downstairs to give them shit. To my surprise and dismay, they were both sitting on the couch playing PlayStation. They swore up and down it wasn't either of them, and there was no way one of them would have time to get downstairs and unmask before getting on the couch. To this day, I have no idea who it was that knocked and waved. Story number 4. I went camping by myself in Maine. One night I woke up at 3 a.m. Not being able to fall asleep, I just laid there listening to the woods and the slow, subtle falling of snow. Then I heard a faint hello. I was petrified. I felt so vulnerable in the tent. I never figured out who it was. Story number 5. New Year's Day, 1995. I was in the middle of my 3rd year of university, and a bunch of my friends had come down to visit me and my roommate for the festivities. We were all pretty hungover from drinking the night before. We went out for the usual nice day out, a bit chilly, I don't feel so good, post-greasy breakfast hungover stroll around the neighborhood. 2 of these friends were twin brothers. One of them we hung out with all the time. The other we just met for the first time. He was very normal the night before, joining in the fun, but on this day we were all hanging around a local basketball court, shooting hoops with an old basketball we found in the grass. This twin brother kept following me around all over the place, with the creepiest grin I'd ever seen in my life, staring right into the nether regions of my soul the whole time. I'd back away and join the group again, and he'd keep following me around. When we were walking back to the apartment, it was just me and him walking down the sidewalk behind the group. He moved over in front of me, stared at me with that creepy look again, and fell down to his knees as if to worship me. I didn't know what to do. "Hey, buddy, are you all right? We're heading back now, right?" And so on. He wouldn't say anything. He'd just be there on his knees, looking up at me with a clenched face and squinted eyes, as if he were looking directly into the sun or something. Later that day, my roommate said he was tripping balls, so I thought nothing of it and moved on with my life. A few weeks later, we got a phone call from the twin brother we usually hung out with. Turned out that his other twin brother went over to his aunt's place with a knife and stabbed her 14 times. She didn't die, but still pretty bad. He had even called the police before going, because he knew he was going to do it, but he couldn't stop himself from doing it, because the voices and so on. The ensuing court case was widely covered in the media, as this was a relative smaller community, where this sort of thing doesn't happen on a regular basis. I was reading one of the articles. One of the testimonies was that his twin brother was severely schizophrenic, was hearing voices in his head. He believed to his very bones that his aunt was the devil, and that he'd been commanded by God to go and kill her. So, who was this God that told him to kill her? As a newspaper article described, it was a guy in a group he hung out with on New Year's Day. Didn't take me long to realize that he was talking about me. This was 22 years ago. I know for a fact it was a mental illness, but just knowing that I somehow commanded him to go kill his aunt stays with me to this day. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. Email your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com. I'll leave my email in the description box below as well. Stay warm in the wintry snow, my friends, and stay sinful.